Ladies and gentlemen, this is the main event of the evening.
Hold one, Andre.
You're not good at this. Get out. Let me tell you a personal story about Vince McMahon.
You just made the list.
Oh my God!
Sorry, no speak English.
Dummy. Goodbye and good night. Hold two, on bar.
It's still real to me, damn it!
Dummy.
This is the worst town I've ever been in.
Hold three, Lamas covered, three-handle family Gradunzel.
Mamma mia!
And now,
Unchained.media presents the B Plus Podcast with your host, Greg Unchained.
It's me, Austin! It was me all along, Austin!
number four, armbar.
I will never retire!
I still got 200 more! I got 200 more holes to list!
All right, fellow B Plus players, welcome to the B Plus Podcast. Today is Christmas. It's Christmas. Merry Christmas, everybody.
Yeah.
That is the voice of our very special guest, Mr. Christmas, who is joining us via the internet all the way from the North Pole. How are you, Mr. Christmas?
Pretty well. Ho, ho, ho. Merry Christmas there, Greg. Apologies in advance if we do drop out because the North Pole has a couple of snowstorms at the moment, so it can be a little bit tricky at times.
Yeah, I imagine, well, I mean, the elves aren't around to help you fix it up either, right? Like, they're all busy with their Christmassy tasks.
They are indeed. They're extremely busy at the moment, so I might have to get the reindeer to deal with it, but they don't have hands, so it's very tricky with antlers.
Right, so, I mean, look, this is crazy. I can't believe I'm about to talk Christmas and wrestling with Mr. Christmas. This is insane. Thank you, dear listeners, for inviting us into your home on Christmas Day. Well, I mean, we weren't really invited. We kind of digitally barged in via iTunes. But if you're listening to us on Christmas, Merry Christmas. If not, we hope you had a fantastic Christmas with the family and everyone. If the family are listening, Merry Christmas to the family. If you're not and you're like all bar humbug, this episode is probably not for you.
I mean, listen to it anyway.
I have my eggnog, and we're going to talk Christmas. We're going to talk wrestling. So, how did I got to start with? And I hope this isn't insensitive as a question. But what are you exactly? Are you an elf? Are you? And what is Mr. Christmas?
What is Mr. Christmas? Mr. Christmas is many things. I'm not Santa. I really want to highlight that one to start off with. I'm more kind of like Santa's muscle in a way.
Okay.
I'm the Christmas luchador, so I'm not an elf. I'm a little bit higher up than the elves, but I'm the Christmas luchador. So I wrestle for, all things festive, and, try and keep the Christmas spirit up, counting down the days to Christmas Day, which is today, of course, and try and do that year round, though, and build up the hype for Christmas. So I'm kind of Santa's hype man, kind of Santa's muscle, a bit of both, to be honest. And
right.
I try and,
Absolutely. So
going.
Santa's Got Muscle, that movie was about you.
Basically, yeah.
Well, I'm all over the place with the things because Christmas wrestling. I don't know where to start. What's your favorite Christmas movie of all time? I mean, I imagine you guys watch them year round.
Yes, we do. They're on kind of on a loop at the moment. To be honest, it's a toss up between Home Alone and Die Hard. They're probably my two go-tos. I absolutely love Home Alone.
Right.
I think it's an iconic Christmas movie.
Yeah, it is, absolutely. But we just earth-shattering announcement. It's official. I mean, if this is on repeat at the North Pole, if it's on a loop, Die Hard is officially a Christmas movie.
Die Hard is indeed a Christmas movie. It is 100% a Christmas movie. There is enough Christmassy stuff in it to make enough references to count. I'm pretty sure there's also a YouTube video about that details it as well, which is amazing. Love the internet for that kind of stuff. But yes, it is on a loop up at the North Pole, so it's definitely something that's there. I mean, how can you go past it anyway? It's such a good movie.
Right, and when we were setting up this interview, when we were setting up this interview, you make no bones about this. You know Santa. You dropped the casual hints. You were like, oh, I know Santa. I know the big red guy. So do you get people thinking you are Santa? That's why you had to clarify.
I get called Mr. Santa quite often. I mean, it's one of those things that comes up. I guess our outfits are pretty similar. We have the same kind of stylistic look. But yeah, no, definitely Santa and I are good pals. As I said, I look after him. I'm kind of his bodyguard. So it's fine, no big deal. Don't like to talk about it too much,
Yeah. I mean, he wouldn't be able to do his whole thing of going down chimneys while wearing a mask. I mean, you got to think people would get the wrong idea. At that
could be a little bit concerning. Yeah, probably not the best idea.
And so, other than Christmas movies, though, I'm gonna assume you guys get wrestling in the North Pole.
We do get wrestling in the North Pole. I mean, it's fairly recent for myself, but Santa himself is definitely a big Attitude Era fan, believe it or not.
I can get behind that. I imagine he's a Mick Foley guy.
Definitely a Mick Foley guy for obvious reasons.
Yeah, but you said you've only gotten into wrestling recently.
Tell us about that. So I stumbled upon wrestling through a friend of mine, one of the elves, where would have been 2016. So what's that? 2 years ago, roughly. They were talking to me about it a little bit and kind of introduced it to me. And like wrestling's always been around. As I said, it's been in the periphery quite a bit. My first kind of major interest in it was the Stephen Amell / Stardust feud that happened, along with Neville featuring in that, obviously.
Yeah, right. When he was doing the whole arrow shtick, yeah.
He was doing the whole arrow shtick, exactly. But then my first proper, oh my gosh, I want to do this. This is amazing. How do I start doing that in my spare time when I'm not looking after Santa? Was 2016 Roadblock, of all things. The Charlotte Sasha Banks match, I believe it was.
Right, okay. Yeah, because when you say 2016 Roadblock, I'm like, Roadblock? Yeah. Like, I forget that's even a pay-per-view that happened, It's not something that sticks out in my memory.
No, and it's not something that I think sticks out in most people's memories, but it was the one that I first saw and went, wow, this is incredible. Let me check this out.
It's one of those things. It's Stan Lee had this approach to comics, and it's every comic is someone's first comic, right? So every wrestling show is someone's first wrestling show, and it was Roadblock that did it for you.
Yeah, it was Roadblock that did it for me.
Specifically the Charlotte Sasha Banks match.
Specifically that match. The whole show itself, I mean, to be honest, I haven't rewatched it. I'm a little bit nervous too now with a little bit more knowledge about wrestling and understanding it a bit better. I think I'd be a little bit more critical of it. But at the time, that match, and in particular Charlotte, just kind of her grace and athleticism and strength and just that combination of things and the storytelling, because I had a little bit of an understanding of the storytelling as well, really revealed to me a lot about what I wanted to do. And I was like, this is something that I'm invested in and I want to be part of.
Right. And so you made the trip to Australia, of all places.
Yes.
And you begun training. And where did you hook up with? How did all that come about? And how did you get into training and all that?
Well, as I said, so one of my friends knows Lee, J Law, who trains me at APWG. And he's been on and off with wrestling himself, actually, a little bit. Hasn't debuted yet, but he kind of invited me along. And as I got there, everyone sat down that first day and were like, talking about all their, why they wanted to become a wrestler and their passion, their interest for it. And, majority of the people there are like, I grew up watching this. This is what I wanted to do since I was a little kid. And I'm like, hi guys, watched it about a week ago. This is my first kind of look at wrestling outside of that, watching, that show. And Lee himself was incredibly welcoming. He's a great guy in that regard and was really, really supportive. And then, got into it from there. So I started training there and have been there ever since.
Right. So, and how long ago was this?
As I said, it would have been March 2016, I think, if that adds up.
Right. So not long after that first watching experience. And
yeah,
so,
literally.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's incredible though, that you would just like straight away just fall so in love with it that you're like, you know what, I'm going to go and I'm going to learn how to do this.
Yeah, I think something like it was a combination of things. I've always been interested in martial arts, and I've also always been really interested in performing arts.
Yeah.
So the two things melding in this one amazing, bizarre creation that is wrestling is kind of where that all stems from.
I'm from a bit before your time, but I actually trained at the Australian Pro Wrestling Gym as well for a while. And yeah, what you were saying about the welcoming environment, everyone there, it's kind of like a family.
Very much so, and that's something that I really enjoyed. Up here in the North Pole, we are quite family orientated. And as such, also at APWG, it was very family oriented. So that was really something that I loved, and you can speak to that too, I'm sure.
Yeah, definitely. 100%. I can't speak highly enough about the training there. Unfortunately, they're not taking in any new trainees, so anyone listening to this who's like, oh, I got to seek that out. Unfortunately, at least for the moment, they're not taking any new trainees. But speaking of family oriented, one of my favorite wrestling products in Australia is the product put forth by Wrestling Go, a little company called Wrestling Go. They're in Marrickville.
Yes.
And you have been fortunate enough to start doing some work with Wrestling Go.
I have, yeah. I've been very, very lucky to do a bit of work with Wrestling Go. I actually recently was just a ring announcer for them as well, as I'm off injured, but also wrestled with them. Made my debut start of this year in the Rumble. And had some really fun matches there. It's again, one of those areas where they're a family as well. It's one of those things where, very lucky to be part of that.
Yeah, and could there be a more perfect fit having Mr. Christmas, who is, the bodyguard of Santa, almost the personification of Christmas spirit, I'd say, and to have him there, because obviously Wrestling Go does a lot of stuff with, there's a lot more kids in the audience. It's a much more kid-friendly show. Yeah,
so actually the last show for Wrestling Go this year was a big Christmas kind of festive event, which of course was perfect for me. And I was actually chatting with one of the families, and the dad actually shared with me that his son had never eaten candy canes before and refused to eat candy canes until in one of the shows that they come to. I happened to give him one because I hand out candy canes before my matches because they're the best fuel to fight with. And then and that kid now he's now super into candy canes. So I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. I may have made this small child be like addicted to candy canes, but he's going into the spirit of things.
Moderation.
Yeah.
Well, that's it. The Christmas spirit, and it's a good thing in moderation. You know what I had today, and it was just too much, and I had to share it with the kids, and sort of I couldn't have it on my own.
What?
A candy cane smoothie at Boost.
I have seen those. I'm yet to have one. I do love Boost juices though, so I'm probably going to have one soon. How'd you find it?
It was just the most. It was just the most intense. Like, because the candy cane just overpowers everything. Like, it's got like strawberry and stuff and everything in it as well. But the candy cane just really, it was something else. But I recommend having someone to share it with because it was too
sweet. Hey,
too sweet.
No. Nice. So I'll have to try it. I mean, I think I'd be able to handle it. I've got a little bit more experience in the candy cane department, possibly than you. So that might be why. But we'll see how we go.
Right, so I just have to clarify, when you say you have more experience in the candy cane department, are you speaking literally? Did you work in the candy cane department before you became the Christmas luchador?
Yes, that's actually everyone starts out in the candy cane department. It's the easiest area to be in, and then you move up to toys, and then we're kind of like, the Praetorian Guard, like the Roman Praetorian Guard.
Yeah.
That's kind of what the Christmas luchador role is.
Right. So that's a step up from the candy cane department into the Praetorian Guard of the North.
Pretty much, yeah.
So do you go on like top secret lucha missions?
Top secret.
Right, so you wouldn't be able. So we'll talk about that after we stop recording. But so unfortunately, 2018, as much as it was a great year, I mean, it was the first year I'd heard of Mr. Christmas, and I saw videos of your match with Keegan at Bondi RSL.
Yeah, that was an experience. That was amazing. I really enjoyed that match.
Right, first time main eventing a show.
Yeah, and first time main eventing a show. First time doing two matches on the one show. as well. I had a triple threat match prior to that I had to win to get the title opportunity as well.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was yeah, absolutely amazing experience. Wrestling Keegan is always good fun. He's just very dastardly and very much not in the Christmas spirit. So it was rather satisfying to be able to pour candy canes on him midway through the match when I had a little bit of time. And yeah, quite a hard fought contest. The Bathurst crowd really enjoyed it by the sounds of things, which was the main aim there, of course.
Right. Oh, so that was at Bathurst. Right. Sorry, I said Bondi.
That was at Bathurst.
Yeah, I meant to say
Yeah, no,
Bathurst.
that was at Bathurst.
Yeah. That is my mistake. I apologize. But yeah, but 2018, some crazy things happened. Go and wrestling, go all this sort of stuff, and then unfortunately, you've gone down with a bit of a shoulder injury.
I have, yeah. So you wouldn't believe it, up in the North Pole, they also have rugby league. That's also rather popular, and one of the Elves was a bit bigger than me back when I used to play, and I dislocated my shoulder then. And have had reoccurring kind of issues with it since then. So it's been an ongoing problem for me since I was about 16.
Right.
When I was still working in the candy cane department at that time.
Yeah. Well, that's and so it's sort of come back through the wrestling.
Yeah, it's come back on and off through the wrestling, and it's kind of I've gotten to that stage now where I'm like I should probably address this before it gets worse because I'm still at a good stage where I can treat it properly and fix it all up.
Right, and so did you opt for a surgery on that one, or? Yeah,
so I'm looking at a surgery. So put myself down now for it. Looking at surgery possibly March next year, if not sometime towards the end of next year. So probably out for most of next year, unfortunately, as far as being in the ring, which is a bit of a shame.
Right. So, I mean, is this going to affect your other Christmasly duties that you have with Santa and the elves?
Well, I mean, it might. I'm going to have to look into how I'm going to address that because, I mean, as I said, there is a few other Christmas bodyguards around. They're not luchadors, though. I'm the only luchador. We kind of go for a little bit of speed and a little bit of size as well. Right. But I'll probably have to work on a few of my duties, maybe a little bit, go on light duties for a little while and kind of do the easy shifts with Santa.
Right, so you'll probably be sticking more close to home in the North Pole throughout 2019.
Yeah, possibly. Yeah,
for that recovery.
Definitely. Good thing is there's lots of snow up there, so I can kind of ice things a little bit more.
Yes.
And drink all the eggnog that I can, because eggnog is always good fuel.
Yeah, it's year-round up there?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, year-round, of course.
Because, I mean, our shops only get eggnog, like, for November and December. Like, they started stocking it November this year. And, well, I don't know how it is elsewhere in Australia, but where I am, it only shows up November and December. And so I'm like I said, I'm on my eggnog and Fireball whiskies.
Eggnog and Fireball whiskey is a very good combination, I think. I'm yet to try
What's your... Right, yeah, no, the cinnamon kick is just, It's way better than having it with brandy. What's your favorite Christmas drink? That was something I wanted to get to because I'm drinking right now because I'm on holiday, so I can do this kind of thing. So what's your? This is my show, damn it! What's your favorite? Yeah, favorite Christmas drink.
That's a good question. I'm wondering if the candy cane thing's going to be bumped up. The candy cane boost juice might become my new favorite, but to be honest, I'm probably pretty traditional with the eggnog myself as well. I'm sorry, that's not a more exciting answer. But I do like those. I do also make a rather nice Christmas punch, which is also very good. Although mulled wine is also something that's rather festive and fun up here.
Yeah, last year someone made me a cocktail that tasted, like I swear it tasted like a Christmas cake.
Ooh.
And I'm sure they told me at the time what was in it, but it was a Christmas party, and I cannot for the life of me remember what was in it. So I don't know how to replicate this incredible cocktail. So if anyone out there in listener land happens to know a cocktail that tastes just like a Christmas cake,
let us know.
Please.
I'll investigate that as well. I'll rustle up some of the elves and see if they can put something together.
Yeah, because I've been all over it. Like the things that I've discovered, I mean, basically my go-to is eggnog with Fireball whiskey. But I really want to find out what that cocktail was. So I was hoping you'd know that. That was my secret ulterior motive for asking favorite Christmas drink. And you haven't even had the candy cane boost. I mean, I don't know when they launched those, but you got to get on top of this stuff, Mr. Christmas.
Yeah, I definitely do. I think I've been slacking a little bit in that department. One other thing that I do enjoy, though, have you had the an apple hot toddy before?
An apple hot toddy?
Mm-hmm.
No.
Basically, what it is like an apple cider, like a mulled cider, or mulled like apple juice kind of drink.
Okay.
Yeah, with cinnamon and like cream. It's fantastic.
Right. I've done like what's called like an apple pie, which is it's just apple juice with the same Fireball whiskey and vanilla liqueur, and that's delicious. But I wouldn't say that's a Christmas drink necessarily.
Yeah,
you could have that any time of the year. But now we're just talking about alcohol, which I mean, hey, people are at home listening to this on Christmas Day. Maybe we're giving them helpful tips. Now, before I let you get back to your very important Christmas work, Mr. Christmas, is there anything else you want to let the people know, and where can the people find you?
Okay. Well, you can find me. I'm at Christmas Lucha on Instagram and Twitter, and I'm Merry Mr. Christmas on Facebook, I believe. I at Merry Mr. Christmas on Facebook. The only other thing that I'd have to say is I hope everyone has a happy and very safe holidays and Merry Christmas to everyone. And that Santa spoils you, which I'm sure he will. I've checked his lists and they look very positive for most people, especially you, Greg. You're doing well on the nice list.
That's good. That's good to know. I do my best.
And yeah, thank you to everyone that supported me this year because, first year in and it's been absolutely amazing, honestly. Been very lucky in that regard.
Yeah, hell of a rookie year. Looking forward to seeing you when you come back from injury. And of course, I second what Mr. Christmas has said to everyone out there in listener land, whether you're listening to this in the future, whether you're listening to this today on Christmas. I doubt anyone's going to listen on Christmas, but I'll check. I can check the statistics. So whenever you're listening to this, we hope you had a fantastic holiday season, and we'll see you in 2019. Thanks for listening.
Merry Christmas. Bye.
Hold one. Arm drag.
You're not doing this. Get out. Let me tell you a personal story about Vince McMahon.
You just made the list.
So, no speak English.
Dummy. Goodbye and good night. Hold two. Arm bar.
This is the worst town I've ever been in.
It's still real to me, damn it!
Dummy. Hold three. The moss covered.